Hey guys, so in this video, I'm just going to go through a bunch of extra examples of writing the equation of a line through 2 points, just in case, you wanted a couple extra on top of the lesson videos that I've made. So for these examples, we're going to put our answer in standard form with no fractions, just to get some practice with thinking about that. And I'm going to do this 4 times with the set of points that you see here. So without further ado, I'm just going to get right into it. Okay, so we're going to start with the 2 points 4, 5, and 2, 9. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to find the slope between the points. So you can just bust out the slope formula like you see here. And so then if I do the subtractions, this becomes 4 over negative 2. So my slope in this case is equal to negative 2. Now, in my previous videos, I did talk about what the slope formula is, and just for the sake of time, I'm going to skip over that now. What the heck? So here's the slope formula, just in case you forgot it. So you have to have your 2 points. So this is it. Okay, so now I've got my slope and I've got a point. So now I want to bust out the point slope form of a line. So I have my slope m, negative 2, I'll plug that in. And then the other point, I can choose whichever point looks easier to me. So that's totally on you as to what you think that is. I'm going to use 4, 5. So this becomes y minus 5 equals negative 2 times x minus 4. Now remember that we want to get this into the standard form, so what I need to do first is I need to distribute that negative 2, so this becomes negative 2x plus 8. And then for the standard form, so I want to get the variables on one side and the numbers on the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the 2x over to this side, and I will add the 5 over to the other side. So then the x's drop out, the 5's drop out, so now I am left with 2x plus y equals 13. And now we are in standard form, so we're all good to go. Okay, so moving on to b here. So I've got 2, 7 and negative 4, 7. So once again, so actually I'll just go ahead and write out the slope formula. Boom, there you go. So if I go ahead and I calculate this, this becomes 7 minus 7 over negative 4 minus 2, and that becomes 0 over negative 6, which ultimately equals 0. So if you flip-flop the order of the points, that's fine. You still would have had a different number in the bottom, but the fact that you have a 0 on the top is what makes the whole thing equal 0. Now, when you get 0, that means that you have kind of a special situation. So when you get 0 or undefined, then you want to go back and look at your points. And the thing that I notice here, I have the same y for both, and I have a slope of 0. So the coordinate that's not changing, that's actually dictating the slope of your line. This is telling me that y equals 7, done. And again, I can tell that because the y coordinate is what's being repeated. So this is actually a horizontal line. Okay, so moving on to C here. So once again, so we've got to bust out the slope formula. Now, if you're watching this and you're trying to learn this, so math is really not a spectator sport. And I say this all the time in my videos, but what that means is that you're not going to learn this just by watching me do it. So you've seen me do 2 examples. And if you're watching this because you're struggling, what I highly, highly, highly recommend is that you try to do this one entirely on your own. Even if you get it wrong, that's totally fine. You'll learn more and you'll remember more if you make a mistake than if you just watch me do it. You want to take a very active stance on your learning. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. So let's see, I get 5 minus 3 over 2 plus 4. So 2 minus negative 4 will become plus 4. And so let's see, this becomes what? 2 over 6. And so this equals 1/3. So now I can bust out, let's see, which point do I want to use? I think in this case I'll use this point here. So I'll take y minus 5 equals 1/3 x minus 2. And now in this case we have fractions, but that's okay. We can just run with them, right? So I'm going to have y minus 5 equals 1/3 x minus 2/3. And okay, so now I've got to work on that standard form. And so in this case now I'll go ahead and I'll subtract the 1/3 x and I'll add the 5. And now I'm going to show you a little trick here because maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't want to deal with the fractions, and I don't either. Okay, so I've got negative 1/3 x plus y equals 5 minus 2/3. Okay, So in standard form, so I said that we can't have fractions in our standard form. That was one of the directions that I gave. So with standard form, if you want to get rid of the fractions, all you have to do is multiply by the least common denominator in your expression, which in this case, the denominator is 3. So if I just multiply every single part of this equation by 3, I will get rid of the fractions and make my life much easier. So check this out. So I'm going to multiply this by 3, this by 3, this by 3, and this by 3. So then what am I left with? I'm left with negative 3x plus 3y equals 15 minus 2. That's what I'm left with, and that is a much easier calculation than what I had before. So, oops, I'm sorry, I wrote negative 3x. It should have just been negative x, my bad. Okay, negative x plus 3y then is going to equal 13. And so now we have our equation in standard form, and we're all good to go. Okay, and so for the last example here, so once again, like I say, math is not a spectator sport. This one has another funky thing that happens with it. I think you should try it and then hit play. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and set up my slope. So I have 8 minus 5 over 3 minus 3, and so this becomes, let's see, 3 over 0. Now when you get a 0 in the denominator, that is not okay, so this is an undefined slope, and so you'll remember then that's either going to give you a horizontal or a vertical line. Now, you don't have to remember which one is it. Instead, you can just look at the points that you were given and notice the x is what's being repeated here, right? So that's actually spelling out for you what the equation is. The equation is just x equals 3, and boom, we're done. We don't have to worry about anything else. Okay, and so that was a couple extra examples of writing the equation of a line through 2 points, so hopefully that was helpful. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.